Welcome, survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Bubolz, trainer, author, speaker, and your burnout prevention mentor. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this chaotic, fast-paced world. But we're not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it. So let's dig in. I get so many great stories post-program where people want to come up and relate to my burnout story or something that I said about the future work and the ways of working, how we're redesigning that. And then also I get post-program emails where someone maybe didn't have time or they didn't want to speak face-to-face, and they'll tell me those stories. And there's so much value in telling their story, removing some of those identifying details, and working through what they went through, because most likely there's someone else going through that too. So let's dig into one of these emails that I got that I think is so prevalent across all different industries. It comes up in different programs that we had to work through. Here's the email that I got. Hey, Kelly, I don't know what my actual job is anymore. Every time someone doesn't do their job fully, I seem to have to clean it up. My boss says I'm a team player, but I feel like I'm doing every position. It's getting to the point where I'm sitting in my car, not wanting to go in, because I know there will be another quick ask that somehow becomes mine forever. Now, I had to pause in that and try not to laugh, because I feel like I have been there so many times, not only as just a high performer that is good at many different things, because I've had to do so many different things in my HR1 type of roles, but also a people pleaser. I want to help everyone. I want everyone to succeed. And so I take on a lot more workload than I should. And that's why it led exactly to that email, right? Someone saying you're a team player. Oh, get Kelly in here. She's a team player. Add Kelly to that meeting because she's a team player, right? So I had to stop and just check myself, because I could just laugh so loud in not a funny way, more of a relation way. And then they said that they were sitting in their car, not wanting to go in. That's literally my keynote opener of me sitting in my car, resenting everyone walking past, not wanting to go in with all that weight waiting for me on the other side of those doors. So I'm so glad that this person emailed me their story, because that's part of my story too. And I think when people see my burnout crash or hear about my burnout complete physical collapse, they're like, wow, that's crazy. That could never happen to me. This is where it started. I'm just sitting in my car not wanting to go in. I'm taking on more responsibilities than I should. I'm not establishing those healthy boundaries or healthy conflict conversations. I'm just taking on more and more and more. And what this really is, when you dig beneath the surface, is role creep. And it's a big issue in all different industries, in all different company sizes, because when you don't have clear roles and responsibilities and you don't refresh that often, this can happen. Role creep. You have people that are over-responsible, which makes someone else under-responsible. And when that's not addressed, or leaders don't have those one-on-ones or time to manage their team, this can slowly creep up pretty fast, really bogging down your high performers or the people that care the most about their work. Now, if I would come into your organization and start addressing this role creep for this person that wrote into it, I would be focusing on a few different things. I'd be focusing on the culture of what you are rewarding. We like to reward high performance, the people that come in for the firefighting and save the day. But what you're actually rewarding is that dependability on them taking over someone else's position, taking over someone else's task. So you're rewarding that person for going above and beyond, which I agree with to an extent. But if you continue to reward that, that's what grows. They will continue firefighting, which means the actual performance or person who's not doing their job, doing the task, that is not being addressed. So you have to be careful about what you're rewarding. And if I would go into your organization, I would be reinforcing the reward program around proactive problem solvers, which means if you're going to go above and beyond, it's before something even happened. It's addressing gaps or digging into those system issues early on before they become emergencies. That's what I would be rewarding. Because when you start rewarding that firefighting, people will start to take on more than they should. And you start to reward unhealthy boundaries. And this role creep is going to be a result of that. The next thing that I would do if I went into your organization and worked with your team is identify who owns what And what is extra? What has been identified as this role creep that is no longer aligned with your role? For example, if you have someone who's in operations, but they're super helpful, they're super efficient at Excel, so they're helping everyone with their Excel and teaching them pivot tables and things like that. Are they actually doing their job? Or do we just need to get training on the rest of the team in Excel? Or, for example, someone's not prepared for a meeting. So the meeting facilitator always prepares the data ahead of time so they can have a successful meeting. Again, do you see where we're not addressing the poor performance, the person who's not doing the tasks that they should own, that there was a due date going into that meeting to bring the data? And if they have other hurdles and challenges like time constraints or meeting spillover, we have to address that, right? So what we're doing is we're backing up from rewarding these firefightings and we're getting down to root causes of the dysfunction within your workflow. So after we've addressed what are you rewarding, that's what grows, and we address those added responsibilities and clearing up those roles and responsibilities, then let's have a boundary conversation. This is really just a language reframe with the team about what you're going to own, and when you don't own it, what will you say? I think sometimes that role creep happens, and it happened to me, is because we don't know what to say when the job has to be done and someone didn't do it, right? So sometimes it's easier to just do it yourself, then you know it's done and it's done right. But now you have a role creep situation. And the more you do that, the more that you've established that this is no longer a boundary for you, that you will just do it. And that's what happened to me too. People were inviting me to meetings just because I knew information, but I knew information because I was doing multiple jobs. Not a great place to be. And so a great reframe of your language that you can use pretty much any time is, I want to make sure that I'm delivering a good result for so-and-so, and so I need to focus on that, right? So I'm saying, thanks, but no thanks. Could I do it? Yep. Could I do it well? Absolutely. But guess what? My plate is full right now. So what you're doing is you're establishing your priority and your focus. Now, if it's something that you are good at, that you want to spend time with someone because you want to support them or train them, I want you to set up a different time in the future, because you're going to make intentional time slot for that versus a reaction, quick ask, add another thing to your plate, and now you get to the end of the day and you never really got to work in it, anything that you wanted to. So when we're setting up our days a little bit more intentionally, we're honoring that energy schedule. We're recognizing when we're hitting our max. We're recognizing the things out of our job. And if we still want to do that, we can schedule it out because, again, we're being intentional with our time and energy. Now, we address what we reward. We're addressing the roles and responsibilities, cleaning that up. We're reframing the language within the team to honor people at their best. And it's okay to say no or schedule it out. I want you to begin getting comfortable with tracking value. We like to track hours. Great. What does that mean? I can give you 40 hours of nothing. Or I can give you 40 hours of value, which then the 40 hours don't matter because you're focused on the value. So you want to start to tie back to the main goal of what that position provides, that main function, what value do they bring? And that's the output that you need to be measuring, because we need to start moving away from hours and back to outcomes in order to clean up these roles and responsibilities and reward the behaviors and knowledge that we want to meet the goal. So when I ask leadership this question, I want you to track your value. What would be the value of this role? I want you to know how difficult it is for them to answer that. And that's not just on leadership, that's also on teams. Because if I would ask a team member in their specific role, what is the value? If you could say, this was a great week, I hit the mark, what would that be? They also can't answer that. So we take quite a bit of time throughout these sessions to start to identify what are the outcomes we are actually trying to achieve. And tracking that value, tracking those milestones, tracking the knowledge and behavior needed towards those. And by cleaning up the roles, by rewarding people where they bring that value, you start to see role creep disappear, because that type of behavior is not allowed. That type of language is no longer the norm. So in this story that they wrote, the quick asks, those build up to role creep. They mentioned that some people don't do their job fully and they have to clean up. Stop being the housekeeper of it. That means we have to give people some training so then they can get to the mark and provide the value. That means we need to have some healthy conflict conversations and feedback and performance management, which means your leaders need to be trained as well. Role creep is 100% preventable when you're intentionally working towards workforce energy management.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the action in which you focus on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering yourself, energy, and establishing new habits is the other. Do not underestimate the untapped inner strength inside you. Explore more resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.